Hello friends, and welcome back to Woodshop Wednesday. So today we've got a little bit of a shorter day because I got to go pick up a load of lumber this afternoon, and I've got a few things around the shop that I want to get done before I do that. So thanks for joining me. We'll get into a couple things. I'll kind of show you some stuff that's been going on for the last week or so, and just do a bit of a check-in. But before I get to that, I got to throw a couple of putts. Still got it. So yeah, now that that's done, boy, I tell you what, people must know when I'm recording, because it's been quiet all morning. As soon as I hit record, I got like 5 texts from people in the last couple of minutes, and it's throwing me off. But anyway, let's get into what we're doing here. I'll show you some of the projects that I've got going on. Let's go take a look. So one of the things that's in progress right now is this cabinet. This is actually going in next to an existing cabinet, between a fridge and an existing cabinet, and I'm basically redoing the top to fix the old one that kind of got warped. I think it was just never really finished, and fix that up and make it look nicer. So they want this matches the existing paint that's already on that, and I've just kind of constructed the box. I've got a few more things left to do on this guy. I have to, they want a shelf installed on this that you can basically like bring up and lower down. So I've got some hardware for that I've got to get installed. In order to match the existing cabinets, I'm going to throw a couple of feet on the bottom of that. So that's actually going to be probably about an inch and a half off the ground, and then I'll cover up that space with the door, which I got to build a door for all this stuff. Probably not going to get to most of that stuff today, just because I'm short on time. But this is the current project that's ongoing. But I'm getting this thing installed on Saturday, so I do have to get. That's going to get that finished. That's going to be the priority for the next few days. Let's just take another little look around the shop, because I did pick up something that I think is pretty cool. This are the staves of a wine barrel. Somebody had this up on Facebook Marketplace, and I scooped it up, and I'm going to make something out of it. I don't know what I'm going to make out of it. Kind of what I have on the ground here is, if you've never seen a barrel up close, they come with these metal rings. And I basically have that metal ring laid out. You can kind of see it peeking through back there. But I was just checking out how many of these staves would I need to cut down to make a clock. Thought about making a clock out of these things. It could be cool. I don't know. I might play around with that. I've also got I've got this live edge slab that I've had sitting around that maybe cutting that up and making the clock out of it instead. I don't know. I'm still kicking around those ideas. But I'm curious what you might want, what you might think could be done with these staves. I've got a ton of them. I mean, I think it was, these are all about 30 inches tall, and they vary in width. These ones down on the ground are about an inch and a half wide. These slightly thicker ones, these slightly thicker ones are about 3 1/4, and they go up to about 4.5 inches wide. So they're not super wide, but they do have some good character to them. I'm going to take a look at these things. They've got all the wear marks, and then of course on the inside they've got all of the char. And I think this was a wine barrel. I'm not 100% sure. This is made out of solid white oak, which is one of the best things about these barrels. One, you get this great patina on the outside, but two, you get this lovely white oak. I've worked with barrel staves before, and I thought I wonder what it's like if you smooth them out and run them through a planer, and then it just looks like standard white oak. So don't do that. You'll waste whatever piece you run through. Which is what I did, because the cool thing about these things is that they were barrels and they have all this patina. Don't get rid of the patina. That's the cool part. So I've got a few ideas for what I can do with these, but I'm real curious what you might want to do with these. What do you think would be a cool idea to do with these to take to a craft show, which for those of you who might have seen my social media posts over the last couple of days, I've got a permanent booth set up at a farmer's market. And I'm going to be doing pop-ups there pretty regularly, I think. And so I'm always looking for new ideas for craft show items. I want to do something that's a little different because I see a lot of coasters. I see a lot of charcuterie boards and cutting boards. And I sort of feel like those are kind of done. You know, people, I hear people like them. I don't know what people like. I'm still kind of learning all that stuff. But maybe this is my own bias of being in the field and looking around. But I see coasters and charcuterie boards and cutting boards. They're like a dime a dozen to me. So I want to do something different. I like to have something unique. And I think these barrel staves could be something cool. One of the ideas that I have is to make a wine bottle holder where it's basically like, I think you cut like a 30-degree angle on the bottom and then they kind of lean like this, and then you put the wine in it like this, and then it kind of stands up. You may have seen something. So I think that'd be pretty cool. I think it'd be an easy make and something that would sell. But you know, I could also joint those together. If I make it back into the office today, I can show you another thing. I made a hat hanger out of some barrel staves that I think looks pretty cool. You might have seen it in my last video. It was at the top. I don't know if it was in frame or not. But if I make it back into the office before I upload this thing, I'll take a picture of that or take a video of that and get it up there. But yeah, that's one of the things that's in the works. I want to get something going this week. But I got to get this cabinet done first. So the thing that we're going to be working on today in the morning before I get out of here is this guy. This guy right here is going to be the top to that cabinet. Don't mind the glue marks. That's all going to get sanded off. But this is made out of solid walnut. I think looks pretty cool already. But we're going to get this thing cleaned up and finished. That's the project for today. We're going to get this thing sanded. And I'm going to put probably a 1/4 inch round over on it. I do have to trim the ends to make sure that they're square. Yeah, like I said, we're going to get a 1/4 inch round over on this on the top, probably an 1/8 inch round over on the bottom, and get some finish on this thing today. So let me get that all set up, and I'll meet you over here at the table with the sanding system all going. First things first, I got to square this thing up and cut it down to size. Now my table saw is just a little too small, or maybe this piece is just a little too big to actually be able to safely push it through to trim up these ends. I can't use my crosscut sled with a piece this wide. This is 25 inches wide, which is just a little bit bigger than I can push through safely. So we're going to use the track saw, which is a really good option. So with that, I'm just going to make this cut real quick. And let's get that going. Beautiful. Nice and squared up. Love that. Now I just have to flip this thing around, get the size measured. Okay, so I just have to measure this out at 34 inches. I like to use these packing blankets as a base for sanding because 2 reasons. One, I think it helps control the dust a little bit because some of the dust will go into this. rather than flying all over. I also have my shop vac, which is going to be hooked up to the orbital sander as well. But the other part that I like about this is it provides a nice non-slit base for this thing, so you don't have to mess with all that. Before I get into that, so this is the bottom. The top of it, I scraped off most of the glue. Just going to do a quick scraper across this to clear up this little bit of extra glue, and that'll make sanding that much easier. As soon as I can find my scraper. Now, the scraper looks like this. There's a lot of different ways to do this, but this is the scraper. It's a real handy tool for getting this glue off there, and this might look like you're damaging the wood, but you're really not. This is kind of no different than taking a chisel to it. And it just cleans up these glue marks so that they can be sanded off. This can also be used in a pinch if you have some big gaps between your boards. If you know they were a little misaligned. In fact, I'm going to just take a peek at this side. I think I was pretty careful in the glue up. Yeah, we don't really have any ridges on this side. So yeah, okay, we're good to go. Got that little bit scraped off. All right, you might notice I had to ditch the coat. It's getting a little warm in here. There's not even the heater on. It's probably like 35 degrees. It might just be that this thing's so good at holding on to heat. I had the heater running last night, and I don't know. Maybe it's just warm today. But don't need a coat, so I ditched it. Put on the apron because it's nice to have my little pockets and stuff. So I'm going to be doing 80 grit on both sides. I'm going to be going up to, so I'm going to do 80, then 120, then 180. And that's where I'm going to stop because I'm putting Danish oil on this, which if you go up too high in the grits, it won't be able to soak in properly. So it recommends anywhere from 150 to 220, I believe. But I'm gonna stop at 180. That should be smooth enough for what we need this for. So, all right, I'm gonna get to work on this. Whew. That palm router works great, but man, does it make a mess. Look at all this. Thing shoots up plenty of dust. But that being said, we're right after the cut here. You can kind of see it's nice, rounded edge. Cuts a pretty good profile, I think. I think this is the side you're going to really be seeing it from. This is kind of the front. And it's subtle, but provides a nice elegance to it. Now, the last thing that I want to do on this is just run it over with a little hand sanding, just to clear off any little pieces, any little anything. And then we'll get some finish on it. So I won't show you the hand sanding. Well, maybe I will. It's good for you to see that I actually do things on occasion. And of course, when I say do things, I mean do things by hand. It's not always power tools. Sometimes you gotta just grab a little hand tool and smooth it out. It's one of those things you always want to go with the grain too, but you can't really see it on camera, but there's just the tiniest little bit of a ridge that router bit left over, and this just smooths that little lip over and makes it nice and flush. Really clean, really smooth. I guess you're getting a good view of my forearm here. I hope you enjoy. But you know, this is really all it takes, just to put that last little finishing touch on it. So we're just getting these little ridges out of here. I'm going across the grain for just a second. A little hip and then right back with the grain. Now, the reason you go with the grain is that if there are any little scratches or anything, they'll get lost in the lines because the wood lines are kind of running this way. If you have a scrape right across them, that sticks out like a sore thumb. So you don't want that. If I were to just sand this way, it would probably leave a noticeable little something. So we're just going to hit that. And the last little thing that I'm going to do is just catch these corners just a smidge. Just to take off the sharp edge. That's all we're doing. Just rounding those over ever so slightly. Yeah, that's nice. Hit a little bit of this round over. Sometimes the router bit will burn the wood just a smidge. I mean, it can be more if you're not careful about it. And that's what the hand sanding is there too, because you won't ruin the nice round over by hand. But if you were to try to use an orbital sander or something heavier duty, very likely going to make a noticeable dip in the round over. Well, there we are. That feels really good, super smooth, really like this. Of course, I always want to double check what's actually the right thing to do. Let's see if I've got my flashlight on me here. Is you kind of want to take a flashlight and just give a bit of a raking light like this. And what this will do, this will highlight any little scratches that might be in there. Now it also is highlighting all of the dust that is up on top of this. So that's kind of what I'm moving out of the way. But this is a perfect example right here, which you can't see, but I can. There is some nice cross scratching in this thing that probably nobody's going to notice. But if you take pride in your work and you want to put out the best thing, definitely get out the flashlight. And this is the final grit. This is the 180 that I'm finishing this off with. And the spot where it's showing up the most is absolutely the spot where I went across the grain. So you just want to make sure you hit any of those little potential burn marks. But, you know, projects are like 90% sanding. I have been at this for about an hour and a half, which I'm not showing this all to you because, well, you don't need to see all that. It's kind of just me going back and forth with the sander the whole time. So you don't need to see all that, and I guess I don't really need to have these on anymore. So really the last step here is let's get some finish on it. I probably got about another hour before I need to take off. This won't take me an hour. This will be real quick. This is probably another 10 minutes or so. And then I'll be able to let this stuff dry and then come back later and put another couple coats on it. But it won't look dramatically different than when I put the first coat on. So you'll get to see what it looks like going from sanded, kind of dusty, to the finish, and just how much that finish makes this thing just really come alive. It's my favorite part. It's the part I wish everybody could be here for. But this is the next best thing, is you'll be able to see me put the finish on, and then we're probably going to call it a day after that. But you know, we'll check back in after the finish is on. So we'll see you there. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is putting some Danish oil on this thing. Got my gloves on, safety third. And we're doing the bottom side first because then I want to flip this thing over to the top and then I'll just kind of leave it there to dry. So this is the part that is a little bit less exciting. And I swear, every time I try to open this Danish oil, I fight with this cap. You need to stop making things so childproof. You're going to see a cut here. It's going to be like 5 minutes later. 5 minutes later, I'll actually get this cap off. They're making things adult-proof, at least James-proof. Hey, there we go. Oh no, I ripped the cap off, but it didn't rip the... Okay, there we go. There we go. We're in business. So this stuff's super easy. This is Danish oil. I bought this from the local hardware store. What it is it's a polymerized hard wax oil, I believe, or it's a polymerized oil of some kind that has varnish in it as well. So it not only stains, but it also seals and provides some protection, some water resistance. And now all you really got to do is you just kind of pour it on and wipe it in. This isn't complicated stuff. So you pour it on and you'll wipe it in. Make sure you get all the little nooks and crannies and all the little bits. It's got a bit of a smell. I wonder if I should be wearing some kind of mask on this, but as always, you know, take proper precautions. Don't just rely on me for your information about what's safe. So you can see this is just me wiping some in for this last 30, 45 seconds. And just look at how this thing pops. Now, again, this is the bottom. And the reason that this is the bottom is that these were the bad sides of the boards. I think that the other side of the boards look so much nicer than this. And that's why when I was laying this thing out, I chose to only have the good sides up. Now I do have this propped up on just a couple of pieces of scrap wood to keep airflow going and keep them up off the ground. So, yeah, basically what you do is you wipe it on, let it sit for a minute, probably right about the time it's going to take me to get all the sides and the top done. Looks so cool. I just love the way the finish looks when it's going on. It takes it from that like, oh yeah, this kind of looks a little sketchy, and it just cleans it up, makes it look so nice. Let's see if you can get the edge. You can just kind of see it's like, okay, yeah, and then bam, look at that, it just pops, just makes it pop. So we're gonna let this sit on here while I hit the rest of the sides. That looks good. Now we're just going to give it a quick flip. And we're going to hope my camera can last. I think the camera's running out of juice. Just last a little longer, camera, please. Just give that a nice dump. And we just move it around. Hopefully my camera doesn't die. If my camera dies, then I'm sorry, and we'll pick back up when I can get my camera working again. Fingers crossed that this camera can hold on. Okay. Oh man, this just looks so nice. This looks absolutely gorgeous. Oh, man, do I love the way walnut cleans up. It just looks so good. It looks so good. Oh, that's so clean. Just look at that. Oh. Try not to gush over this too much, but this wood just has such beautiful grain, such beautiful coloring, lovely lines running through it. Okay, so basically, this is kind of the end of this. The camera's about ready to die, but you've kind of seen everything that I have to show today. Really, the next step for this is I'm just going to go flip this thing back over and wipe off any of the excess. Oh, the other important thing for these, make sure that you hang these things out to dry if you're going to use this stuff. As this dries, it polymerizes, which produces heat. Now, normally it's fine if the heat's got a place to go, but if it's all crumpled up, that heat can build and actually cause these things to combust. It's a real thing. There's actually quite a few woodworkers who've done videos about it. Bourbon Moth did one where he did a bunch of tests and actually set some stuff on fire. So if you're going to use these things, these soaked rags have to be opened up to dry. Don't leave them on the floor. Just drape them over something so that there's plenty of room for the heat to escape. But that's the only thing you really got to know about these things. But man, so I got to put a few more coats on this, but they take about an hour or so to dry in between. Yeah, thank you for joining me here on Woodshop Wednesday. Perfect timing because I got to go pick up a load of lumber. But we'll see you next time. So I'm going to finish up here. See you next time on Woodshop Wednesday. Bye, everybody.